Clean construction, also known as green construction, is really about sustainability.
Not a lot of people know how to recycle all of this stuff. We're taking a place apart and we're recycling everything in the process.
We recycled or reused 90% of the materials that came out of here and threw away hardly anything.
Columbia University looked at this building and said, you know what? We can train people to come in and to really salvage, recycle, reuse the materials that are in buildings that need to come down.
We've been on maybe 100, 200 projects and never once seen a project like this. When we saw the opportunity to bring in the young men and women to do training, it was absolutely unprecedented.
There's not that many women in construction, and usually because, unfortunately, a lot of people feel that women should be doing traditional roles. Should be at home, work with children, doing white-collar, clerical work, administrative work. And there are a lot of women that want to do hands-on. There are a lot of women that want to get out there and get dirty and, could do heavy lifting. And we want to give those women the opportunity to show what they can do and to also compete for the same type of positions as men.
A lot of women don't come in at a disadvantage even though we give them training because, the dads didn't bring them along on the jobs, so they don't have that hands-on experience. So that although they may know what to do, they don't have a lot of the familiarity with actually having the drill in your hand all day, using it and all this kind of stuff. So here is an opportunity for them to put the things that they've learned at the school into practice, get some feel for it, to get an idea if, hey, I could see myself doing this.
And I encourage you as you meet other women who are, trying to figure out what they want to do and would never think about doing what you do, to encourage them to do what you do. It's hard to be in the construction field, very hard. It's harder to be a woman in construction, and we know that. And you have to keep fighting that fight every day to do what you do, to make it what it needs to become.
This is something that I've always wanted to do, work with my hands. I've always had the desk job, the computer thing, but I wasn't happy doing that type of work. But once I got into the field of more in the maintenance type and I started working with my hands more, I realized this is what I enjoy doing. And as the saying goes, if you got to work, you might as well do something you enjoy doing.
Working with the non-traditional employment for women, also known as NEW, has been exciting. The young women themselves who are so committed to really doing salvage projects, doing construction in the future, working with the local unions, working with people all over the city of New York to make sure that we are moving forward properly.
The women have taken out about 40 tons of material from here. Of that, about 20 tons is surplus property that's all going to be reused. Of that, about 3/4 or 15 tons went overseas. Something over 5 tons stayed here in New York. About 20 tons of scrap metal came out of here. That's all going to local scrap metal markets. About 7 tons of paper, which is going to be recycled. Another 3 odd tons of cardboard. There were also about a ton of computers. So instead of just filling a hole in the ground, you have all the materials coming out of here that are staying in the United States, creating jobs, creating businesses, and it just doesn't get better than that.
I really didn't care about going green. I didn't know too much about it. But coming here and seeing how everything is done and how much it really will help, I'm more involved. I'll participate.